To Danny and Dusty with you on this Friday afternoon, whether you're listening on 1080 AM, the Odyssey app, watching us on youtube.com/1080am the fan, twitch.com/1080am the fan, or 99.5 HD2. Thanks for being a part of our day, letting us be a part of yours. Hour number one, we talked to Aaron Donald, him retiring, just dudes naming dudes of Pitt football, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah, dang.
And then we had a little bit of Oregon State, Washington State, what their lot in life is in the college football playoff moving forward in the next 2 years.
Isn't much.
There's a pathway and $360,000 apiece. But the grand scheme of where the college football playoff is heading is that this agreement of conference commissioners, what it sounds like is that all the power is with the Big Ten and the SEC, and everybody knows it. Because the group of five, there's a quote that Heather Dinich has from a group of five AD who made it akin to The Godfather. He said, it's like The Godfather's offer you can't refuse. Because the offer is, you will take this and you will like it, or you won't be in it at all. And that's how the Big Ten and the SEC are operating. They're trying to throw their weight around. And what we have is for the next 2 years, we will have a 12-team playoff this year and next year. Then starting in 2026, it seems like the consensus is for a 14-team playoff.
Mm-hmm.
As it stands right now, what we have is in the 12-team playoff, it is the 5 highest-ranked conference champions and then your next 7 highest-ranked teams. For the 14-team playoff, what they would have right now is your 5 highest-ranked conference champs and then the next 9 highest-ranked teams.
Which gets a little spicy.
I think that would be to the detriment of college football.
Mm-hmm.
Not because it's a 14-team playoff, but because of what it would do to scheduling across college football, because the Big Ten and the SEC have no incentive to play anybody in their non-conference schedule. They would just say, why? What's the point of us playing anybody of...
3 weeks of NAIA matchups is what you're getting.
Yeah, it is... There's zero incentive. You would see the worst of the worst non-con games because them playing an ACC or a Big 12 team, it doesn't help them. It would only hurt them. It only hurt them. A good group of 5 team, it would only hurt them at that point because you have to, it would then be on your highest ranked teams. Automatic bids, that doesn't sound right, but it makes a whole lot of sense to have multiple bids from the Pac-12 or the Big Ten and the SEC because of the fact that you can afford to lose. And then what would separate you from the rest?
Yes.
It is your strength of schedule and the schedule that you play.
And it would also keep from, and I think this is what the SEC and Big Ten have realized here, is like, oh, you don't want to give us the 4 automatic bids? Well, then fine. We'll just go with the top-ranked teams. And we essentially gerrymander the results at the end of the year by saying, yeah, we're just going to play each other and then play 3 cupcakes. And good luck saying that we're not the best teams in the country or rank the best teams in the country because we're going to have all the eyeballs.
There is a note in all of the reporting that's coming out on this, though, that the College Football Playoff Board of Directors, they know this. And although it does seem like it's going to be 5 highest-ranked conference champs and then the 9 best teams for now, that is a for now because they're basically, everybody else is waiting for what the Big Ten and the SEC want. And what they want is essentially how this is all going to shake out.
Full control, which is, I don't know, again, I'm going to keep beating this horse until there's nothing left. Why do we keep taking the small steps? We all know what they want is the super conference. Why not just go there? Why are we faking these steps? I don't understand it. We've been heading down this path for 3 years.
And I think where there is that little hold off here is I think they are throwing a bone to Oregon State and Washington State by saying, can you put together a conference that is relevant and that makes sense over the next 2 years? Is there a pathway for you to save yourself? But in the grand scheme of it, it really is just...
It's delaying the inevitable.
The Big Ten and SEC are waiting for everybody to crumble. That's what it is, because here's the other thing about it. Over the next 2 years, would you be surprised if Florida State and Clemson weaseled their way out. North Carolina weaseled their way out of the ACC and found their way into those conferences? No, because we know they've been trying to do it, right? And as it sits right now, 40% of all college football playoff teams are comprised of in the 14 playoff, are comprised of teams that are from the Big Ten and the SEC. Like, they're sitting there going, no, you guys have to play our game.
Rules. Yeah. And again, that's why I keep circling back to just get it, rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
Rip the
I think they are, though. It's just the Band-Aid was ripped off when the Pac-12 dissolved. At that point,
I guess
all
it's
the
fair
power
to an
went
extent, but we all knew where this was going, that somebody was inevitably going to end up with more power than everybody else. We all knew that. And the SEC was always going to be one of those powers. It was the question of, is it the Big Ten? Is it the Big 12? Is it the Pac-10? Pac-12? And, what happened, and Big 12 made their choice to become a basketball conference, and here we are.
You know what is absolutely wild is we rewind if the rest of the Big 12 doesn't just crumble to Texas and Oklahoma, or 2010, I guess it would have been, you would have been looking at the Pac-12 would have been more firm footing here. They would have been the ones that are plucking off the rest of the Big 12 because the Pac-16, it was and that was closer than what people remember now. That was very close to going down.
I mean, it wasn't the only hang-up the TV network?
The Longhorn, the Longhorn Network, and then the rest of the Big 12, in an attempt to save themselves, said, "No, you guys take
all of it.
Texas, you can have your own network. Texas, Oklahoma, you can take uneven shares. You can move forward." In the Pac-12, like, what didn't get them over the finish line was bending the knee to Texas and saying, "No, you guys get more than everybody else out here." But if that would have happened, you would have seen the Pac-12 survive. You would have seen we would have had a conference on the West Coast, and it would have made a lot more sense not to pillage the West Coast if that would have been the case there. The ripple effect,
it's a sliding doors effect. Yeah,
I think USC still would have wanted to leave, because if Texas is there taking shine off of them, because the big reason they got all pissy in the first place was they wanted the uneven revenue distribution. And they didn't get it
the same way Texas did.
They didn't get it, and they had a bee in their bonnet, and so they were the first ones to hightail out of the Pac-12. But everybody else followed suit because it then became the money play after that. Man, I think it's overall, all of this is not going to change fans' rooting interests. I think Oregon State and Washington State fans, they're going to hate a lot of college football teams. They're going to have a lot more hate in their heart.
Which is good for you.
Yeah, but that was one of the things about their fan bases that I loved, is that they were the ones just like love you up and then rip your throat out.
They weren't
you.
full of hate, but they may have had to pee a lot.
I don't understand that reference.
Well, one, because they drink a lot. Two, because I remember the video of the Oregon State fan peeing on the pavilion.
No, I don't remember that.
You remember that video?
Oh, at the game. Yeah.
Just right there.
Golly.
Hyper
That's a deep
blackout.
I forgot about that. That was just this season, too, against UW. It was the UW game when it was pouring down rain.
Yeah, and he just was like, I'll mix it right in here.
Yeah.
Thought it was the shower.
And Oregon State fans, to their credit, I want to make sure we have a clarifying here. They were saying that was a Washington fan. They were saying that was a Washington fan. It was just a guy dressed in all black, but there were reports. We have boots on the ground, and they said
it's okay. It's okay, B fans. You can be one of your own.
I think that the person that told us this, he would have owned up if it was one of his own.
Okay,
I think he would have owned up to it, but it was. I totally forgot about that. What an all-time move.
I mean, just
a
blackout
weirdo.
Drunk to just go right in the drain right there in front of everyone.
Psycho move. Good golly, Miss Molly.
What's more psycho about that? That he did it, or that most people didn't realize what was going on?
That he did it.
Okay.
That he did it. Because, I mean, how often are you looking like at people at those standing tables there? If you're just walking by on the concourse, you usually wouldn't notice, especially when it was pouring down rain the way that it was during that game. You know, if it's like a dry day and all of a sudden you just hear that splatter, that's one thing. But the fact that it was raining as heavily as it was, there's a lot of noises going on there. Concourses can be loud. So I give a pass to a majority of the people that were just walking by unaware, because you also wouldn't assume that somebody would be out there relieving themselves on the concourse.
I don't know, man. I feel like that was...
You think it's more on the people walking by that didn't notice? Well, there was enough to where somebody videoed it and was like, what is this guy doing?
Well, that's the thing. The video just shows you everyone around. Like, he's like, people are just standing like right next to him and totally oblivious. I feel like there'd be an aroma in the air. No, like, hit the nostril and be like,
Nah. You forget those concourses. There's a lot of smells.
There's a lot of character.
I mean, hot dog water is you get that aroma. You get the nachos.
You think it might be a little loud too?
Popcorn. Yeah, it was very loud.
No. I mean a little loud. Little loud.
Again, I don't understand your reference here.
The marijuana.
Oh no, that's more the student section.
I was just saying that I did notice a lot of.
Is that what they call it? Do they call it getting loud? Little loud is that smell?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Look at that. I'm learning a lot of things.
Gotta turn the volume up.
You and your veiled
references
are really on point right now.
I'm around the kids.
Going right over my head.
I'm around the kids.
A lot of them are going right over my head.
I don't know if you've noticed, the Blazers locker room, super young.
Very young.
Yeah.
Very young. Not very loud, though.
No.